Gavin Newsom. Thank you so much. So, just to double check here, you're all coming to that rally at MacArthur Park this evening, right? It's going to be an amazing gathering. We got Jakana Mani from Ella Baker Center and Dorsey Nunn from All of Us Are None. We got Stacia Kozner from SSDP. And we got Julia Negron from Moms United Against the Drug War. And I am so honored that one of the speakers tonight, speaking not in English but Spanish with a little translation, is going to be the remarkable leader from Mexico, Javier Cecilia. But the person I'm going to introduce to you right now is somebody who's been pivotal in organizing this event this evening. He's the founder and co-director of the Los Angeles Community Action Network. He's a man who's been working with people on Los Angeles' Skid Row, the people who are most beaten up and beaten down by the war on drugs. He's been a friend and an ally, keeping us honest in terms of our principles and our policies. His name is Pete White. Pete, come on up.
Y'all in Los Angeles, I can't hear you. Good morning, how's everyone doing? I'm reminded by something that Frederick Douglass said when I start this morning. Frederick Douglass said he spent nearly 20 years praying for freedom. But it wasn't until he started praying with his legs that freedom came. And so as we occupy this country, it is very clear that we are no longer praying, but we are praying with our legs and moving toward action. Is that right? Let me be the first to welcome you to Los Angeles, my home. And I'm humbled and honored to have the opportunity to share with you this morning. June Jordan, the powerful founder of Poetry for the People, wrote this: "If you make and keep my life horrible, then when I can tell you the truth, it will be a horrible truth. It will not sound good or look good or, God willing, feel good to you either. So I come to you as a truth teller. I also stand before you in solidarity with my colleagues in Los Angeles that have taken fighting positions on the front line, engaged in this battle against the drug war. LA Can, Bus Riders Union, Youth Justice Coalition, A New Way of Life, Homeless Healthcare Los Angeles, Critical Resistance, the Drug Policy Alliance, and countless others are fighting every day on the front lines to ensure that we end this drug war. The drug war has failed our communities and families, stripping our collective ability to meet our full social and economic potential. However, for those in power, it has been a smashing success. Disenfranchisement, incarceration, destruction of family and community, disconnection from the labor market, racial profiling, and the list of related oppression goes on, and we know it all too well in this room. Ain't that right? Yeah. Today, an estimated 7.2 million men and women are under correctional control in the United States. 2.3 million behind bars and 5 million controlled within our communities. But the casualties of this war goes beyond those numbers. This war grips our communities and cripples them. This war grips our families and disintegrates them. This not-so-covert war on drugs is really a war against communities of color, especially African Americans, and is geared towards short-circuiting our ability to build power and to demand change. This war, in no uncertain terms, was launched as a tool to prevent the resurgence of a civil rights movement that retooled the way we all imagine America. This war continues to place a full-scale moratorium on my constitutional rights and my human rights. Sometimes I wake up from a nightmare and it feels like I'm moving back to a place when I was 3/5 human. This war is used as a means of gentrification, banishing entire communities of color to pave the way for football stadiums, luxury housing, and playgrounds for the rich. It is important for me to tell you about the real-time impacts of this war in the community in which you are sitting. As we sit in the relative luxury of the Bonaventure Hotel, the drug war rages on about a half-mile away in Skid Row. Mayor Villaraigosa, a purported progressive mayor, launched an initiative in our community for 5 years. He brought in an additional 100 officers, and it has been the most intensive and sustained criminalization of poverty and addiction in the country. This so-called Sulphur Cities initiative has criminalized simple everyday activities of all poor residents. But the hardest group hit have been drug users and addicts. And the tools have been more sinister than usual. The impacts are long-standing, and here are a few of them. Thousands of people with unfair drug convictions now face bans in accessing subsidized housing and benefits, with lifetime bans on some crucial benefits. People with any drug arrest at all, not even a conviction, get a letter sent by the city attorney demanding that they be evicted. Welcome to Los Angeles. Stay-away orders are issued, driving long-term residents away from the limited health, housing, and substance abuse services in that community. And so the cycle of poverty, homelessness, and criminalization is allowed to persist, although not without significant resistance and victories won by hundreds of brave Skid Row activists and their allies. But we must be clear. Skid Row is just a microcosm of what this war has left in its wake. The criminalization of school children, denying the right to education, the legal discrimination against those with drug convictions, denying the rights to employment, housing, and food, legal discrimination in voting rights, denying the right to participate in our supposed democracy, but we're gonna get that together, right? Yeah. Other human rights violations such as barren communities, deteriorating infrastructure, death, denial of treatment and care, motherless, fatherless children, and more. There is no way to win this war, no matter your perspective. We must fight to simply end it. I'm about to wrap up, y'all, but I told y'all I was going to be a truth teller. Among all who have responsibility to act on this issue, African American leaders must emerge from behind the colossal walls of shame, fear, and guilt that have all but silenced our moral obligation to protect the health of our families and communities. And that must start at the White House. Some of the audience might say that I'm preaching to the choir. However, my refrain does not end there, because as Frederick Douglass stated, slaves are generally expected to sing as well as work. It is at this point I must pay homage to the words of Malcolm X when he instructs us to stop singing and start swinging. You are the contemporary abolitionists, suffragettes, and human rights defenders. But we must do more, and we must do it right now to ensure that drug addiction and drugs is treated as a health issue, not a crime. We must end this drug war now. All power to the people.